Hello, this is Dr. Zhou again. This video is outside of medicine, continue with historical figures or historical dynasty or historical event. Today I'm going to talk about a very important historical figure in Trination period. We talk about some other important people like the guy from Southwest, Zhou, and actually, when we talk about the Zhou, we have to talk about the other person. His name is, last name is Zhou, first name is Yu. I mentioned him before, but just not talk in detail about him. He was from southeast, under serving Sun. Both him and Sun are relatives, and also they were both from the heritage. Actually, that Sun inherited his power from his older brother. His brother was very, of course, the family was start from high class, and their parents, their father, and this Zhou is the same. He inherited his title of the commander of navy, commander of military, majority's navy, because that southeast nation area is around the Yangtze River, so the defense mainly by the navy. So he was the commander. He inherited that position when he was 12 years old. So he was the famous young hero, and he's according to the history, he was kind of really knowledgeable. He was from the Yangtze River area or southeast, so kind of the place where he enriched the soil and land. So his relationship with Sun, the emperor of that southeast area, was they both married the one family, two girls, a very famous lady, Qiao. They called first the second Qiao. So that's even the center, the middle land, the Cao, just aiming for those two ladies because they were famous, from famous family, they were famous of the beauty. So that's the relationship between this Zhou and Sun. So about this Zhou, he was very knowledgeable, knowing how to command the navy, and also, of course, won a lot of battles. That's why how the southeast established, one of the reasons because of him. Of course, he was had assisted by the other older or experienced military or political advisors, but that's the reason he was so famous until he met the person Zhou, until Zhou came out from that remote village to start to serve Liu. So this Zhou, he was knowledgeable and command the navy for so many years, more than 10 years actually. But one of the reason he lost to Zhou, because his mind is not because he's personal limited, I think. It's just because the age compared to him and Zhou was compared to him is like the old sage samurai, but he was just the young, fresh, and won so many battles, was so famous, all the glory and also all the honors. On top of the age, also because of the honors earned at an early age, so gave him this kind of pride and narrow-minded. So when he dealing with Zhou, he lost the whole picture. The whole picture, what I refer to is like Zhou, or in his nation, there's some older advisor agreed because Cao at the middle aiming to take two of them. So if they do not unite to fight against Cao, then eventually, particularly if they fought each other, then Cao will just it's just like the crab and also the lobster fight each other, then the fisherman just got two. So that's the idea from Zhuge and also the older advisor. But Yu somehow he couldn't. He probably knew it, knew this idea. He probably accepted this idea, but probably he just couldn't deal the fact that Zhuge was not secondary to him. Sometimes actually Zhuge was better, or probably that's the fact that he couldn't deal with it. So he tried to compete, and try to against and compete. So that's the reason he lost. And actually he lost, and he was wounded in the war. So there's a lot of situations, a lot of legend or story about these two people, these two, how to battle about the weight, whose wisdom is superior, and always how from the conversation, from the strategy, from the communication, or from the convincing the committee. So this is about him, and there's so many kind of events. Eventually, he was injured, and during the battle, and he was trying to recover, but he couldn't, because he couldn't hold the peace from inside, and that's why he eventually just died from coughing up the blood. And there's a famous last word for him. Ask the heaven, the God, if you created me, why you had that Zhuge? So that's very famous last word from him. So this is about just like to give a summary for him. Is still he's very well respected, very positively commented in the history book, because he's really talented and capable. However, because of the mind not open wide enough, in nowadays probably called emotional stability, or there's a terminology for it. So if that's the case, probably a lot of people, I mean we as common people, as here or there, knowing best how to, we know the best how to overcome, but there are limitations for all of us. Like this person, he was so like no enemy can defeat him. So he was such a hero. He was. But until this Zhuge came along, he probably, if he did not have the honors, the previous so much honors, he probably can shift his mind and to deal with this Zhuge, to accept the idea that we have to unite together and to fight the center of the Cao, the middle of Cao. But he just probably, he was start at 12 years old, took over the power to lead the navy as a commander. Can you imagine that? I think he died at about 20 something, at early age. So anyway, so this is about him. In summary, I think it's just everybody's had different kind of limitations. Just notice it and try to overcome the weak point and then to move on. I think from his story, it's just very well known. if you're interested anyway, I just stop here. Zhou Yu, last name Zhou and first name Yu, from the Legend of Tri-Nation. So if you're interested, you can search about him and find out his story. And his story has to be with the Zhuge, so the battle between two. Thank you for watching. I will see you next time.